Good morning on this very, very sunny and hot Perth summer day. In this video I am going to continue building my 2.8 Landcruiser. I have to tell you now that it is growing on me. The more I drive it, the more I like it. Yes, it doesn't have the character of the V8, it's true, and it never will have the character of the V8. It won't have the lovely V8 rumble. It's a better engine for this car. I filled up, did my first check. I'm getting 4 litres per 100 kilometers less fuel than on my V8. It's not a little bit, that's a lot. Getting excited about the build. So today I'm fitting some water tanks. I'll explain my choice and the reason why. Different story this time than before. Water tanks into the troop carrier, 2 of them, and also later on this coming week going back to Sean's place at Mission 4x4 and fitting out my back door. They have built me something bespoke and custom that they're actually turning it into a product. It's 2024. That means 40 years that I've been exploring the world's most remote places in 4-wheel drives in association with the Overland workshop. Just forward of the back bumper is this tank. It is approximately 40 litres, and then the long ranger tank is a touch over 50 litres, and I have 10 litres in the water boiler, giving me a total of 100 litres, give or take.
So we're just figuring out where and what we're going to use for all the outlets. So we've got the filler, we've got the breather, so that'll be under the engine bay, just driver's side close to the back of the engine bay. We've got the pump, which would be in the new troopy system, the water hub, and then we've got the back tank. We've got the filler will be at the back of the vehicle in the vent. We're going to have a gravity outlet on one side opposite the exhaust, and then we're going to have the pump outlet on the side of the exhaust connect to the system as well. That's pretty much the plan. Do you want the fittings?
No, I don't need the fittings to look like I know what I'm doing, because I know what I'm doing. What he was trying to say is that basically the long ranger tank down here, fill from the bonnet, and the back tank fill from a connection. Temporarily we're going to put it down there, but actually it'll end up in here, and one of Mission 4x4's nice little systems there. And the back tank will be a simple gravity feed. And I'll explain why that is such a nice thing later. Well, we're getting the back tank in, and I have to say, this is the first time they've ever done it, and it went in first time, which kudos to the guys. Now, this is actually made by a company in South Africa called Manjaro. And the reason why it's not an Australian tank, there are Australian tanks that fit in that location. The only reason why I'm not using one is that I had the Manjaro tank, was actually going to be used for another project. So I'm using it here. But first time, straight in, great. Some of you will ask, why have I never in any of my other troop carrier builds put the tanks underneath? It's more complicated to have them underneath, but of course having them underneath means that the centre of gravity is lower. So these 2 products are the simplest 2 that I can find. That is going to mean that I don't have to remove exhaust pipes to get them fitted. They should just go straight in, both of them. Running dual tanks is a very good idea. You can have one as grey water and a second one as drinking water. If you lose one through breakage or crack, you've still got reserve water in the vehicle. And having 2 tanks underneath, 2 separate locations, gives me maximum versatility. The disadvantages are that mounting tanks underneath is far more complicated and therefore more costly. And in this configuration, the tank right at the back is not the ideal place for it in terms of weight distribution. And the other advantage, of course, is I'm saving a lot of room inside the cab, and that's really worth doing because the interior installation that we're going to put in this vehicle is far more space efficient than any of the others that I've ever built. It wasn't long before we realized that there was a chance that this new tank wouldn't fit. It's a tank designed for the V8 Landcruiser, not the 2.8. And it turns out that they have actually moved some of the cross members.
So I left it like onto the jack.
The tank is not going to fit. Are you reading the instructions?
No. Clearance, approximately 75 wash.
Well, I suppose that's the price one pays for the first person to be building a 2.8 troop carrier in Australia. And I imagine this is not the last time this is going to happen with this build. Oh well, it was worth trying. Now, I am trying to fit Australian-made products to my troop carrier, but I'm actually finding it quite difficult, particularly now because it's the 2.8 and that product that I wanted to fit doesn't fit, and they have said that it's going to take several months for them to be able to produce and test a brand new product. But I don't have months to wait because I want to do a major trip in this troop carrier in Australia in July, and I'm not here April and May because I'm in Africa. But I do have a solution. When I was in South Africa last year, working with Paul and Skulk, designing the Africa troop carrier, they showed me a set of water tanks designed to go in the wings of the troopy. You have to see this. And I was so impressed by them that I just ordered a set and I had them shipped to Australia. Rotor molded, purpose made troop carrier water tank. Fits inside the body cavity.
With gauges.
With gauges.
And drains.
And drains. 25,
Yeah.
25, 30, 30.
Almost 50.
Almost 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're close to a total of 100 liters.
100 is plenty. 100
is good.
Is good. 100 is good. Because it is a solution, a good solution, and it's available now. So the system consists of 3 tanks. Right body cavity tank, left body cavity tank, and then the tank we've fitted it down there. What it does mean though is that I have to cut away these strengthening ribs of the bodywork. That concerns me a little bit, but the supplied with the tanks are rigid. Oh, I have to interrupt the video there. I will not be fitting those side tanks. They're elegant, they're beautifully made, very clever design, good place to put the water, and the system with the back tank is wonderfully practical. But it's too complicated. I could not do it myself. I would have to ship it to somebody that knows more about this than I do. They would then have to fit them for the first time, drilling holes in both the bodywork and the body cavities to run all the piping. And in South Africa, because labour is, by comparison to Australia, quite cheap, these are a feasible product. If you want to get one in Australia, if you want to get a set of those tanks in Australia, they will send them to you and you can figure it out. All right? So, but for me, yes, I do want to try and keep the vehicle an Australian showcase where I can. My challenge is there is no product at the moment to fit underneath. So what am I going to do? I'm going to live with the plus minus 50 litres that I've already fitted in the back. I will carry jerry cans until Long Ranger arrive with their underbody tank for the 2.8. It could be, I'm talking the end of the year. That might be much sooner, but I'm calculating for the end of the year. So my big trip in this vehicle in July in Australia, I will be carrying 2 jerry cans and then I will top up my water. And because the underbody tank can be fitted, the smaller one can be fitted without need of access in the back. It doesn't matter when I fit it, I can fit it any time I like. So that's what I'm going to do with the water systems.